tackler.
The Australians have done it on so many occasions. Can they do it once again on foreign soil? Tarawa Nikau needs a big one today.
Well, I think all the English-based players need a big one today. A bit of pressure on those players. A lot of rivalry between the Winfield Cup scene and the British scene. A lot of eyes looking at those English players. They've got to come up with the goods today.
We stand by for the national anthems.
Australia fair, in joyful times then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
There are some who have made the trip across the Tasman to try and cheer home the Australians, but there will be a remarkable atmosphere built up as we set ourselves for the New Zealand national anthem. Time to regain your seat.
And now for the traditional Maori haka.
The anthems will have done plenty to lift the teams. Now for the famous haka.
Give the boys your support.
It will be interesting to watch the reaction of the Australians. Well, the Australians were certainly outnumbered. Interesting to watch the reaction of Alan Langer and Dale Shearer.
Yeah, well, Alan Langer's had to face it before, Graham. He's a pretty calm bloke, but I'm sure it scared the blokes when they first getting off the boats when they arrived in New Zealand for the first time. They had to face that.
Both the captains come together on halfway for the toss. They will have to swap over.
Just a quick message. Keys to a red Toyota Starlet, the registration number JM5.
And it looks as though it will be New Zealand to kick off.
Red Toyota Starlet, registration JM516.
Russell Smith, the referee from Great Britain. Again, this will be a real key point to see how he keeps these teams apart in the play the ball situation. Halligan to get us underway. He just awaits the call from Mr. Smith. Willie Kahn to bring this one back for Australia. Michael O'Connor, interesting to know who really does enjoy the advantage of the breeze.
There's not a lot of breeze down here. There's plenty of atmosphere, though, Graham, on the sideline. Interesting enough, the referee, Russell Smith, has had a meeting with Bob Fulton through the week. I've just spoken to Bob Fulton about his interpretation of the tackle rule. In Australia, in the Winfield Cup, when the player is stopped in motion, he's called held. It's not going to be the case today, so watch out for the Australians. They won't be trying to put the player on the ground. They'll be just trying to hold him in the tackle, so that gives them the opportunity to get back and reform.
Well, the Australians go out near halfway. Lazarus straight into the Kiwis, 42 metres out from the New Zealand line. Harrigan to take over. Good quick defence from New Zealand. Langer on the fringe, look for Clyde, cuts him out, sends it to Serenan. He draws the attention of three defenders. Steve Walters harassed and put down, some bustling defence. Kevin Walters in behind the line, tries to get her away from Morven Edwards. He allows it to travel out over the sideline. Solid passage for both sides, but some smart defence and some bustling defence from New Zealand.
Yeah, well, New Zealand chasing out of that mark area. They've got to do that against the Australian forwards. They're too big to stand and wait.
Trying to get it away from their own 20-metre zone. And an early penalty now for the Kiwis. And somebody has had something to say very quickly out to the 40 metres. So Australia gives away another 10. Halligan takes his time as Langer tries to regain some composure for the Australians. New Zealand with their first test. Down the other end with the ball. Todd plays it back, 40 out. Solomona went into the game with a lot of question marks over him too, but that will help him settle down. Midfield. Watson tries to get away by switching play. Halligan head down, swinging arm over the top from Serenan. Freeman trying to weight this one over the head of Shearer, but he sends it straight to him. Now we've got Brent Todd in some trouble in back play as the Australians bring it away through Kevin Walters. And Todd looked as though he was grabbing around his jaw or cheekbone. Harrigan. Langer to a back line. Cutting men out. Daly from deep inside their own 20. Daly kicks ahead, but cut off easily by Edwards. They showed their colours, Australia, by running it from inside their own danger zone.
Well, that's the exact tactics that New Zealand's got to come up with. Good, very good play from Australia there. Good positive play, and it nearly came off with them, for them with a four-pointer.
Solomona. Great hits coming in from Harrigan now. Nikau showed it. Tried to get a ball out around the back as New Zealand comes back. Freeman. Cross-kicking. Hoppy is travelling. Willie Kahn went to sleep. Hoppy nearly grabbed it. The Australians had a look over their shoulder. Now a question to the touch judge about who put it down.
Well, it was a good kick from Gary Freeman. Put plenty of pressure on the outside backs of Australia. Well, without any doubt, Sean Hoppy was the man who touched the ball.
They weren't quite sure that somebody was there, John.
No, those wingers, they've got to get motoring very early, and You've got to run your early yards fast. You can't just load back. You've got to go hard early.
Shearer cops a serve in the tackle from Edwards. Edwards suggesting that he took a forearm from Shearer. Shearer stays down for attention. You be the judge.
Well, that was silly play from Edwards in. Without any doubt, he shouldn't have responded in any way whatsoever. He should have just got up and marked them.
Edwards learning a little bit of experience, should have left it with the referee. There was no doubt that Shearer started it all. Harrigan. Over the advantage line, he wrestles with them into New Zealand territory. Langer goes without it. Bobby Lindner running very freely to the 40. Bradley Clyde shovels it back for Fittler to try and step on the inside. They sweat on him. Langer in behind the line, nobody home. Kicked ahead, it will be too strong. So already a couple of kicks getting in behind the line. The Kiwis being caught out with nobody there. Great thinking from the Brisbane combination.
Yeah, it certainly was, and that resulted in the penalty down the other end. New Zealand gave away the good field position by a little bit of undisciplined play from Edwards, the fullback.
Freeman on a run around with Dwayne Mann. Brent Todd seems as though he has recovered. Freeman. Rapati brings in Nikau standing nice and wide. Back for Watson. Great stepping. He's got support. There should be a penalty. They still play the advantage. Now that's a good advantage played by Russell Smith. A penalty to New Zealand to call up Daryl Halligan. Morven Edwards was taken out of it. And all of a sudden, out wide, there were some gaps.
Well, it was sensational play from New Zealand. First time they've got the ball out wide. Great work from Nikau, getting the ball out to Watson in. A very, very good break, but silly play by Australia. If they hadn't done that, it was a certain four-pointer for the Kiwis.
Great break from New Zealand.
Yeah, he's a good player, Dave Watson, and he likes that situation when he can get into a little broken field running, and Nikau got the space on the outside. Dave Watson's got the speed and the ability to go on with it. Linked up really well, and the referee was on the job.
Daryl Halligan. He is an ace. One of the world's great goal kickers. Give this man too many chances in this test match, and you are in big trouble. To enjoy a little bit of a breeze here to assist to bring it around from the right. Halligan, you never can deny this man.
Introducing the 1.8-litre Subaru Impreza, the new family sedan that's great fun to drive. The Impreza has the interior space of a much larger car, and the 5-door model has an extra-large boot. The Impreza also comes with a 3-year, 100,000-kilometre warranty. You could drive around the world 2.5 times before that ran out. With standard air conditioning, the Impreza from Subaru, driven by innovation.
Tries to keep Gary Freeman away from him. Now Willie Kahn. Langer to Bradley Clyde.
They're setting right.
Australia instead take on the right-hand side of the defensive line, breaking left and bringing it back, knocked back. Michael Hancock continues on. 10 metres out. Langer looks wide. Langer, a big hole up the middle. Dale Shearer, did he get it down the opening try? Right next to the post, New Zealand just opened up, and Alan Langer waltzed his way through to set it up for Dale Shearer.
Well, Alfie Langer, you've got to chase him from the inside out. You've got to take away that inside option. It wasn't done then. Dale Shearer lurking up from fullback. Took a lot of strength to score that try. It was a very good Australian effort. A good 4-pointer.
Yeah, here's Langer here. He's got plenty of support outside, and the New Zealand defence was all stacked up out wide, and you just can't let this little halfback run at the defence. He's too good on his feet, and he's also got a good pass in him.
They worked good field position, the Australians. They took it 2/3 across. I think they went one more than they wanted. They had a big line out here on the right, but Alfie Langer, he sniffed a try, and it was a good one too.
Well, he sniffed it out for Dale Shearer, who picks up his 3rd try in Test matches against New Zealand. He has played 12 Tests in all, now to try and get the maximum number of points from right next to the posts. No doubt about it, Australia, the world champions, come back in reply, 6-2. So Australia confidently on reply, and thankfully, Graham Lowe, those clouds have continued to roll by, and plenty of sunshine for this one.
It is sunshine, good sunshine, but it's also interesting to note it doesn't look to be too slippery out there, Graham. Looks good conditions underfoot, and we should really see a very good attacking game. That try then came about by the New Zealand markers not chasing from the inside out. You've got to take away that inside option that Alfie Langer has. If you don't do that, he's going to cut you up every time.
Halligan.
Yeah.
Down for Paul Sirenen to take it to the 20. Michael O'Connor, what was the story with Brent Todd? We'll come back to Michael O'Connor in just a moment. Harrigan. Harrigan on the fringe. Steve Walters from dummy half. New Zealand just holding back a little, allowing the Australians some room. Now they go on attack. Solomona. Strongly taken. Hit from behind by Sirenen. Pongia. Pongia, 35 metres out, he plays it. They go to the back line. Rapati. Watson. Hoppy. Does well to stay away from the sideline. Mercer stands, look for support. Now Dwayne Mann on a short side for Gary Freeman. Spots a chance. Picked off. The angle was taken by Langer, who rushed up from cover. Last tackle against New Zealand. Standing wide is Rapati. Keeps it along the deck into the end goal. Shearer allows it to go dead. Back to the 20. Howie Tamati already on his feet sideline, the New Zealand coach. Daly with a restart, and they get it to 30 metres out. Bobby Lemon. Langer. Lazarus on the fringe. Sorry, Michael, trying to get a report still on Brent Todd.
He's just suffered a bit of blurred vision, a knock over the eye, but he'll be okay, Graham.
This time the Australians get the ball away from Morven Edwards. Down into the in-goal area. He allows it to come back to the 20. Lowy, we are seeing some rather shallow in-goal areas here at Mount Smart.
Yes, well, New Zealand fields always work on the minimum requirement of the International League. Certainly much shorter than what we're used to in Winfield Cup football. The kickers are going to have to be very, very careful. Also puts plenty of pressure on and tests the nerves of the fullbacks.
Pongia. Solomona with a step to get away from Harrigan. Strong surge to pick up about 8 metres.
Well, it's very important from New Zealand's point of view that the Kiwi forwards stand up to Australia, and at this stage, they are holding their own against a much bigger Australian pack.
Again, marvellous footwork from Dave Watson.
It is noticeable, Graham, that they're keeping, the referee Russell Smith's keeping a very good 5. It's almost 8 metres.
Gets Australia, that's a good example of it, as he takes Australia back into their own side of halfway. Some big hitting coming in from the Australians. Hancock tries to work in tandem with Shearer, but great defence. He loses it. Was it stolen? Not at all. There'll be a scrum and a great opportunity for New Zealand. Was this ball stolen?
Well, there was plenty of pressure from the New Zealand chasers there. I'd say that if it was Winfield Cup football, they'd say it was stolen. But this is a Pommy referee.
Well, that was a good angle from the side that the referee was looking at, and it would have been hard for him to produce a penalty out of all of that. Rapati inside to Watson on a run around back outside on the angle for Gary Freeman. Can the Kiwis come up with a try and reply now to Australia? Todd takes it just outside the danger zone. Freeman working this short side continually now to Nikau. Rapati very wide, jumping high to stop and take it was Mercer. Mercer straightens up, taken strongly by Daly, the Australian captain. Freeman wants it, standing flat. In behind the line, tries to chip through, but there is no way through for him.
There's still a good passage of play from the Kiwis then, able to put plenty of pressure on Australia, but they must now back it up with good defence. They've gained field position, they've got to be able to control it and keep Australia down there. Prior to this, they haven't been able to. They've given away a penalty or let Australia sneak out with good back play.
Langer, confidently wide. Beautiful cut-out ball. Free run for Hancock. Fiddler inside. This is a chance. Great chasing. Great cover from Halligan to get back. They have New Zealand on the rack as Clyde is pulled down on the last tackle. Now, can they regroup? Langer. Langer. Langer looking for Willie Kahn, but that is too strong. But they threatened to put it together. Brilliant play from Australia. And a good save in the end from New Zealand.
Well, it was fantastic play from Australia. Australia showing their keenness and willingness to open the ball up in their own 20-metre area, and it's paying off for them.
Sirenen comes in with the big hit. It is Sirenen and Harrigan especially that are starting to make it hurt. Solomona taken by Linda. The Australians, John, very confident to try their arm deep near their own line.
Well, they're backing their ability, and there's nothing wrong with a little bit of ball movement if the formation's good, and they're the best in Australia, and they're confident they'll move the ball around. When they've got formation, they'll move the ball.
Nikau again standing 2 and 3 wide. One more tackle for New Zealand. Rapati this time tries to get it away from Shearer, but they're not having much success, making it too easy for the Australian fullback.
Just watching Gary Freeman then moving downfield a little early with the English referee. I've had a bit to do with him. He is the best referee in England, and Gary Freeman will have to watch it if he gets out of that ruck area too early, because he will penalise him later if he continues.
Langer cutting men out. Clyde still short of halfway. Steve Walters can't shake off the defence, but manages to unload to brother Kevin. Great ball out the back for Bob Lindner. He keeps it alive to Steve Walters. Looking for a quick play of the ball. Shearer. Ball looked as though it was nearly forward to Langer. Daly quickly to Fiddler. Fiddler stands up. Dave Watson tries to take on Morgan Edwards, not finished off. Still alive for Michael Hancock. One tackle left again for New Zealand to defend. Langer goes to Daly. Daly shapes for 1 point. He is happy just to grab the extra one. That is enough. So they stretch it by 1. 7-2 Australia. Good attacking passage from the Kangaroos.
Well, they've been playing very well. Out wide is where they've been gaining plenty of advantage. But Laurie Daly, the captain out there today, showed the coolness, showed the awareness, and that 1 point's very important.
So Freeman now to marshal his troops. Australia are starting to build, starting to find their attacking guns. Sarah throws himself into the line.
But Graham Sirenen able to run far too greater distance from bringing that ball up. Then the Kiwi chasers should have been down much quicker. Chasing's letting New Zealand down at the moment. They're not moving up. Even in the play the ball areas, they're standing back now and starting to wait. They've got to move up, meet Australia on the advantage line.
Lazarus, it has been the big men. Firstly Sirenen, then Harrigan, then Lazarus to take them into New Zealand territory. The kick in behind Hoppy and also Edwards. It will beat them all over the sideline. So again, a solid passage from the world champions.
I think one of the areas that Australia's just starting to look at is the matchup out wide with Dave Watson. He is a halfback. He's played in closer and he's got his hands full with Brad Fittler, and defensively he's not aiming up at the moment. They've made a couple of long breaks down there.
Hoppy, overall possession pretty square. Brent Todd. Rapati to McCracken, who gets a rare touch. He has not been involved much. Tried to get to his feet quickly, and he has dragged the penalty out of Harrigan, who wants to continue on with it. That would be quite a matchup. We've seen Harrigan at his best against Bella in State of Origin football this year. McCracken was keen as well to go on with it.
Well, Paul Harrigan certainly came in to give him a good serve. Fortunately for Jared McCracken, he ducked under it, but McCracken hasn't been able to get involved in the game yet. He went looking for the ball then. He possibly is the player that can spark New Zealand. New Zealand going into its shell a little bit. The Australian forwards are starting to get on top when they're running with the ball.
Todd settles things down for the Kiwis. They take it towards the posts. Freeman cutting men out similarly to the way the Australians have been doing it as he brings in McCracken. Again Freeman behind the line. Hoppy gets a good bounce. What a great try. Clever play from Gary Freeman that sets alight Mount Smart Stadium. All of a sudden, the momentum that the Australians had gained is upset. 7-6 as Gary Freeman continues to stay on a short side that brings Sean Hoppy's first ever try against Australia.
Fantastic play by New Zealand. Jared McCracken in there sparking that off, but Gary Freeman, look at the man, kicking it to the short side there. Same sort of play comes up with the Eastern Suburbs Roosters, and a great finish in by Sean Hoppy.
Yeah, Dale Shearer's caught out of position here a little bit. He should have read that Freeman was coming across there. Turned into a foot race between Shearer and Hoppy, and Hoppy's won it. He's improved the distance too. He's improved the angle. He's got it in close to the posts.
Yeah, it looked like a good planned move to me. They're not taking on Australia up the middle. They've got Mercer and Nicol running very wide. They move it 2/3. Freeman comes across, as you see many times at Eastern Suburbs, put the little grubber through, and a great finish there by Sean Hoppy. Isn't that matchup between him and Kana Beauty?
It certainly is, Michael. Now it is Halligan to try and put the Kiwis back in front. Need we even wonder on some occasions with this man nearly on. New Zealand, the Kiwis on their second tackle from the restart. What a confidence builder, Michael O'Connor, for New Zealand.
Yeah, I mean, they've been right in the game, though. They're getting good yards here, Graham, very good yards around the ruck. And we're talking about the New Zealand market defence. Well, Australia's market defence has been pretty lapsed on a couple of occasions.
Their kicking game letting them down a little, New Zealand, as they continue to go straight to Shearer. The best kick was the one away from him that produced that try for Hoppy. Real test match on our hands at Mount Smart Stadium in Auckland. Fittler took 2 and 3 defenders, still managed to unload. Another mistake. All of a sudden, there is some hustle and bustle. Dave Watson. Dummies. Can't get away from Hancock. Australia back to defend their own line. Tarawonike Nikau. The Kiwis are starting to believe. Unfortunately, a short forward pass in the play of the ball. It will give a scrum and feed to Australia.
New Zealand on fire here. Great work, all supporting one another, trying to get the ball out to open space. That's the key. They haven't got their heads down. They're looking to where the gaps are, and that's what's paying off for them.
Hancock. Some worrying times for Laurie Daly, his team, and coach Bob Fulton now.
But Graham, Australia are the world champions. They can respond. They can reply to any good play from any side.
Now that is very close to a spear tackle.
That was a spear tackle.
The claims were there, Michael, from Willie Kahn, who rushed in. Now, high tackle again. The ball's being coughed up. Now, this tackle on Clyde looked to be dangerous.
Yeah, I don't think he can do that sort of thing. It's very dangerous tackle, and it should have been penalised straight away.
New Zealand with a scrum feed. Just where they want it. Good quick ball from Nikau. Hoppy to Kahn. And that battle on the sideline continues. Freeman really working away at this right-hand side of the Australian defence. Todd, as always, there to take it up over the advantage line.
And that was a very important ruck, that, because Toddy turned the whole Australian side around. Made them all go back an extra 5.
Solomona.
They're coming back on the short side.
Freeman is still setting himself there. Sirenen over the toppers. Todd ducks. Last tackle, the kick is on again. This time they run it. McCracken from a long way back. Shoves it back. Still alive. Hoppy gets the call to put it up. Hoppy puts everybody onside. And they take Shearer. 10 out from his own line. Australia still under pressure.
Great work from New Zealand. Good pressure football, but now they've got to back it up with good defence. Kiwi forwards have got to get in there and really hammer Australia, because the Australian forwards, in my opinion, are having the better of it. That is what's required.
Nikau marked up on Sirenen. Sirenen bounces back to his feet. This is really building now. Russell Smith wants somebody. Penalty against the high tackle. This is a great hit from Nikau.
Yeah, Nikau, he's very brave in defence. He doesn't mind the contact, and he's hit and stuck that time.
Try and pick the mind here, John, of Bob Fulton.
Yeah, I think he's a little concerned. I think they're not dominating the game like they'd want to. They started off very well, and but New Zealand is they're right in this game, and I'd say he's a little worried.
Lazarus up near halfway. Sirenen, more confidence from him this time on the fringe of the ruck. The penalties are 3 apiece. Steve Walters to Lindner. They have enjoyed the territory for the last 5 and 6 minutes down the other end, New Zealand. Now they can't afford to go asleep at their own end. Crowd suggesting there was a little knock-on in there from Steve Walters. Bradley Clyde right up the middle. Daly hurdles some defenders just outside the 20. The play of the ball well and truly slowed down there. The Australians were looking for a quick one. Kevin Walters takes it to the line. Last tackle, 12 metres out. It is still early days in this opening test, but it is extra hard for the world champions as New Zealand are climbing out of the ground at 12-7. The world champs take a risk and get punished.
Well, Australia probably guilty of playing catch-up football too early.
They're under the knuckle here. Sean Hoppy's come up with 2 tries in about 7 or 8 minutes, and what a great way to start your New Zealand career.
He went a long, long way. The chase was on from 2 very quick men, Dale Shearer and also Willie Kahn, but they were never going to catch the man who put it right under the black dot and turns around with a gift for the man from the opposite side of the field, Darryl Halligan. New Zealand on a big roll here at Mount Smart Stadium. Look out. Upsets on the cards. The Kiwis in a very big way, 14-7. A fumble from New Zealand, a chance for them to get back on track. Michael O'Connor, there is some problems now.
Yeah, they're not major problems, though. I mean, the couple of tries that have occurred, one came from a kick. Dale Shearer was probably a little bit slow getting to that, but he's compounded the problem by throwing that pass, which wasn't really on. He didn't need to throw it. They mounted a good set of 6 tackles. They should have put it in the in goal. Australia well and truly in the game, though. Don't write them off yet.
I'm not suggesting that at all, but they need to get back on track now. They take a very quick tap, searching for a try. Shearer regained that one, did well to hang on to it. Steve Walters up to Lazarus. They settle midfield just outside the 20. Lindner running again to open up play out wide for the back line. Langer sets himself. Harrigan extra wide, gets used as a decoy. Fittler takes on Watson, then to Daly. Quickly out to Hancock. They come across in cover. Beautifully kept alive by the Australians, starting to put it together a whole lot better. Steve Walters left alone, a dummy half. Langer with a great run, just 2 and 3 metres away. One more tackle. Kevin Walters off the Kiwi boot to Steve Walters. No try. Was the ball played at? Was Steve Walters put onside?
Yeah, I feel the ball came off the New Zealand foot, which makes him onside. I mean, he play on.
That's a try.
Looks like he hit the line with the ball, and that's a try.
Certainly looked like a try there for Australia. They were a bit hard done by, but it's shown a weakness that New Zealand's going to have to be very, very careful with. Once they've come up with good plays, New Zealand, they don't back it up good enough with their defence. They've got to defend.
Graham, what's your comment about little Gary Freeman playing out of the line? He's playing in the line at the moment. He plays out of the line at Eastern Suburbs.
Well, I think at the moment it's all right having him in the line as long as he's close to the ruck area and he covers behind and covers that inside chip that Alfie Langer's liable to come up with.
Getting down to the dangerous last 5 before half-time. An area where New Zealand really have to defend because the Australians are used to playing more so the pace of the game non-stop.
Well, Australia's guilty of missing just as many tackles around the ruck at the moment as the Kiwis.
Great change of direction to McCracken, but a brilliant tackle from Langer as it really opens up. Penalty against Australia for stealing the ball. It was a great cover from Alan Langer. McCracken was slicing right through.
Well, here we have McCracken changing the angle, coming straight down. Good work from Alfie Langer, coming from the inside out. But it was great work from McCracken, putting the ball on the ground and then getting the penalty.
McCracken twice has done that now, trying to get up quickly. Solomona trying to get over that advantage line. Good quick tackle from Harrigan. The Australians back inside their 20. New Zealand trying to find a try in this last 4 minutes before the break that will give them a huge advantage. Edwards climbs high to take that one. They might even think about field goal. Freeman. Hoppy, nowhere to go on this occasion, but he makes them struggle. Back to Mercer, good play. More than Edwards taken, good defence from Sirinen. Last tackle. Fine play from both sides. Freeman bombing away right near the line. Who wants it? Hancock climbs.
That's a super take by Michael Hancock. Cool under pressure and just what Australia needed at this point in time.
Bradley Clyde busting tackles to get them out of trouble. That is a superb run.
Certainly doesn't look like anything wrong with his knee in that run.
Seemed as though it answered a couple of questions. In the opposition half, New Zealand have had 34 tackles, Australia 25 down the other end. They might get some more as they go wide. Hancock stepping inside, taken by Watson. 28 out from their own line in a tough first 40 minutes to the opening test of 1993. Last tackle. Kevin Walters Showing it. Thrown forward by Steve Walters. A very important scrum about to pack. Handover, in fact, for New Zealand. 14-7.
New Zealand counter-attacking has got to be spot on now. Like to see Dwayne Mann run a little more from dummy half, take a leaf out of Steve Walters' book. Steve Walters is actually having a very good game. He's making breaks when he runs down from the dummy half position. Dwayne Mann has got to follow suit.
Mercer. Quickly to his feet for Watson. Watson to Nikau. Took a solid hit from Clyde, finished off by Sirinen. Solomona, not shirking any work, tries to get it back up the middle. Watson gets away, slips it to Rapati to go into a half gap. Last tackle right on the 20. Freeman quickly calling for it. Knocked on by Australia. There is still time. Michael O'Connor tried to pull off a great slips catch. There will be a minute and a half to go from the scrum. 9 handling errors against the Australians.
Well, the kicking game of the Kiwis working very well at the moment. Gary Freeman keeping the ball along the ground, doing the grubber kick, and it is paying off. Those angle kicks are putting plenty of pressure on the Australian outside backs.
Rapati loses it. All of a sudden it comes unstuck. And Australia should be able to handle the last 75 seconds. They might even produce something from deep. Kevin Walters. Langer quickly trying to get on with the play. Daly outside. Daly's got a chance with Khan. Back inside. McCracken's there. Wrestles with him, puts him down 42 metres out. The last 60 seconds in front of us. Langer. Kevin Walters. Bradley Clyde. Back to Brad Fittler. Fittler to Kevin Walters. Has plenty of support too now. Shearer. Shearer with a step. The last 40 seconds and New Zealand are stretched. They're on the rack as Australia dig deep to find a try. Harrigan right in front of the post. Hands and knees. He is taking them to 2 metres out. Steve Walters from dummy half steals a try with 20 seconds left on the clock. Simply from dummy half. And that will hurt New Zealand, who will not enjoy the big advantage now at half-time.
Well, that was a disastrous 10 seconds or so from New Zealand. Very, very slack defence around the marker area. But the referee allowing Paul Harrigan to go along on his hands and knees. Like, where does he tackle? I think he should have been called, held earlier, made to play the ball quicker. But very, very ordinary marking there from the New Zealand defenders.
Picked up quickly, though, by Steve Walters, who was smartly out of there. Didn't matter about the numbers in front of him, and he nabs his 3rd try against New Zealand. He stays low to the ground. Strong runner. Suggestions there that the ball might have even been just grounded initially short.
Well, it's 4 points on the board, and that's the main thing. Good play, good response from Australia. They've been able to come back, been under a lot of pressure. Well, it was a good response.
Tremendous test match here at Mount Smart between the world champions and New Zealand. Shearer to leave it, but only 1 point in it. Very impressive first 40. A great test match on our hands here in Auckland at the break by 1, 14-13.
Where there is a suggestion that there could be an upset over the world champs. New Zealand playing very impressively in the first 40. Australia bouncing back with plenty of character just before the break. Graham Lowe must be giving the Kiwis, including yourself, some great heart. That first 40 was very exciting.
Yeah, they are playing very well, Graham, but it's also noticeable that after they've done something good, their defence drops off. For them to win this game, they've got to be able to back up their good attack with positive defence after.
Well, there's been few chances down at the other end for Australia. When they have gone down there, they have normally put on a try. The first one belonged to Dale Shearer.
Langer looks wide. Langer, a big hole up the middle. Dale Shearer, did he get it down? The opening try.
Laurie, this was a perfect example about what you were talking about, knocking off down the other end themselves.
Yeah, well, they brought themselves undone after some good play, but you've got to chase Alan Langer from the inside out. He was able to get away that inside pass. He is the best in the world at that particular play. He steps back off his right foot, turns the ball back on the inside. He does it week in, week out for the Broncos. The Kiwis are going to have to watch that in the second half.
All right, well, what would you be saying to the Kiwis at half-time now with this 1-point lead?
I'd say their attack's going quite good. Their kicking game's working quite well for them, but their defence is dropping off dramatically, I believe, after they've done something good. They've got to improve their second phase defence.
Well, the Australians were put back on their heels in the 23rd minute as New Zealand came up with their first try, a brilliant one to Sean Hoppe.
Again, Freeman behind the line. Hoppe gets a good bounce. What a great try.
Michael O'Connor, it has been Gary Freeman right throughout this first 40 who has continued to work away at Australia's right-hand side.
There's no doubt about that. You know, when he's on the right-hand side of the field or on his left side of the field, that's where the ball's going to go. And he's exploiting this wing, this Australia's right wing in a player of Willie Carnes' ability. So, you know, he's really backing his ability and backing the side's ability, but this is a great winger's try. Sean Hoppe's a very good winger. I think these two wingers are probably the best two in the world, and it's great to see them one-on-one. Sean Hoppe getting the points in the first half.
Just that little bit of a feeling for Australia that they were starting to climb back, though, and another chance. It's been talked about a lot leading up to the game. Do you think the Australians are comfortable with the English referee?
I think so. I think he's doing a good job. He's getting them back 8 metres, sometimes 10 metres. He's doing plenty of talk. I'm down there on the sideline. I'm hearing him. He's talking to the players every set of 6. A couple of his interpretations are a little bit different, and obviously you can see Australia know a little bit more about him than New Zealand, because Paul Harrigan, when he made that bust just before Steve Walters scored that try, he took advantage of the fact that he's more liberal. He's not using the Winfield Cup interpretation of a tackle player.
Well, it was going to be a great advantage to New Zealand at half-time, but with just 20 seconds left on the clock before the break, it was Steve Walters who brought the Australians right back into it.
Kevin Walters off the Kiwi boot to Steve Walters. No try.
A comment from Russell Smith about whether that was played at and still alive for Walters.
Well, quite clearly the ball wasn't played at. He kicked it through. It came off the New Zealand player. That puts him automatically onside, gets it on the line. As far as I'm concerned, it's a try.
He has handled some good decisions well, Russell Smith. Graham Lowe was mentioning about the New Zealanders dropping off in defence. Is that going to be the key in the second half, about maybe tiring late in the match?
That's right. I think it is. I think they've got to get their small players around the ruck area. When Australia scored that try in the first 10 minutes through Shearer, it was because I think Solomona was in a dummy half. It's not his role to be in there at marker defence. You need little players who have got energy and enthusiasm to chase out of that market play. And if New Zealand are going to win this game, they've got to tighten up in that area. There's no doubt about it.
Well, they didn't tighten up. Let's take you this time to Steve Walters with just 20 seconds left on the clock before the break.
They're on the rack as Australia dig deep to find a try. Harrigan right in front of the post. Hands and knees, he is taking them to 2 metres out. Steve Walters from dummy half steals a try with 20 seconds left on the clock.
He did certainly steal it, Steve Walters, but he is good at it.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. Australia worked good field position to get that try back. They kept their heads very well.
Just there was a concern that maybe he was just short initially, just before he got across the line.
Well, it's very hard to tell from that camera angle. We'll have a look at this one here.
Now,
it certainly gets low.
Is he short there before he...
Well,
is it momentum or did he push it across?
Looking at that, it looked to me as though he's a little bit short. So, anyway, it makes up for the other one.
Well, Michael, how do you see the second 40 now? What would Bobby Fulton be saying?
Well, I don't think Bobby would be all that happy. I talked to him before the game, and he was quite comfortable with their preparation. He thought that I think he thought that things would go a lot better in that first half. New Zealand really made a test match of it. I think they've just got to keep their heads. They've got to play good field position like they did there. They showed what a professional outfit they are to be able to come back with only a couple of minutes on the clock in the first half. If they don't score that try, I could confidently predict the New Zealand win, but they're right back in the game now.
Well, let's take a look at the breakdown of the first 40 minutes. The Australians climbing back, as we say, just before the break here. The overall possession favouring New Zealand, but only by 1, although the possession in the opposition half is always a good one, Michael. They have it 40-28 in that area, New Zealand.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can read a lot into statistics, but I think it's been very even. The possession, the field position, you know, there's been a couple of long breaks from both sides, length of the field breaks. We saw Hancock make a beauty in the first half, in the first 15 minutes. Look, I don't think you can harp too much on statistics. I think it's a very even game, and it's going to go with the bounce of the ball.
Handling errors are 9-5 against the Australian. Is there a suggestion that they are frustrated a little?
I think so. I think it also points to good New Zealand defence too. McCracken's coming up very strongly in the centres. There is, as John Mooney pointed out, a bit of a problem on the right-hand side in defence because Watson's not customary to playing that position. But if that's one area that, apart from the dummy half area, that New Zealand have really got to watch, it's out wide, because while he's a very good defender, McCracken, he also loves to tackle and he gets in around the ruck area and leaves it a little bit skinny out wide.
Well, it is New Zealand at half-time here at Mount Smart Stadium in the first test of 1993, ahead 14-13. There is a chance of a very big upset in the world of international rugby league. Stay with us. Right after the break, we're back with the second half.
20 minutes remaining for the Australians to get it right. They have a tough one on their hands here in Auckland. Good crowd of around 25, maybe 27, 28,000 here in Auckland. Great atmosphere and a great test match on our hands. New Zealand, 1 point ahead. You only need 1 to get you, 2 to get you home. They will be happy to leave it as it is. The Kiwis by 1 as we set ourselves for the last 40. Gary Freeman has had a tremendous first half. His final series in the land of the long white cloud. He is trying to make it a great farewell. He will look ahead if they can get home in the second half here to maybe doing something on Friday night, something special. Maybe he knows something we don't.
Yeah, well, he certainly looks in a good positive frame of mind. Plenty of expression shown on Laurie's face there. He knows that Australia's got to come back. Things are turning against them at vital points.
Now, Daly has gone over to the referee. Daly is checking something with Russell Smith, saying, "Excuse me, sir, can we get something right?" Now, I would suggest that's come from Bob Fulton.
Oh, without any doubt, Australia would have certain aspects of the rulings on their mind that weren't going as they thought they would go, so they've done the right thing. Bob's spoken to Laurie Daly and he's checked with the referee. Now they know what the story is.
40 minutes ahead of us. Shearer has had a mixed bag, a difficult time with Sean Hoppy that led to a try, and he has picked up one himself. The Australians, who are under pressure that they normally handle at this level. Dave Watson. Both sides now will have to guard against a slow start to the second half. Nothing in this test opener of 93. Solomona takes it to the 40. Tuta takes it up strongly, so we've got changes. Halligan, under pressure, has to go back to his left foot. And that is a great kick under pressure from him to send Willie Kahn 10 metres out from his own line. Good chasing too, good straight line. Todd fires in with Freeman. Rapati was there as well. Bobby Ledner.
Graham, the only change this half is Pongi is off with a bruised hip and Brendan Tuta's on for New Zealand.
Tuta straight into it. He's already got a touch. Now he makes his first tackle. Lazarus. Tuta is coming off a great match last weekend here in New Zealand. In the Canterbury-Auckland clash now, Shearer getting it away from Halligan. Tit for tat as they feel each other out at the start of the second half, looking for a mistake at either end. Hoppy. Taken, put down by Bradley Clyde. Todd. He loses the ball. New Zealand made 96 first half tackles. Dwayne Mann with 20 led the way, 86 Australia. Harrigan with 14.
Here.
Now a high tackle on Todd. Quick to act was Russell Smith.
Well, it was around the neck, that tackle by Laurie Daly. I don't think there was a lot in it. Toddy losing the ball before the contact was actually made, but he's doing a pretty good job there for New Zealand, Brent Todd, and ensuring the penalty came along their way.
42 metres out. Dwayne Mann with a restart to Solomona. Hands it up beautifully to Gary Freeman. Langer rushes up to take his opposite man. Tudor stays at dummy half for Nikau, who tried to show it back up the middle. Tudor again, trying to be everywhere in the opening 3 minutes of this second half. Mann, a short ball to Solomona, who gets a good ball back. And Dwayne Mann on hands and knees nearly sneaks away. Freeman, the advantage of a very quick play. The ball, Rapati takes it to the line. The gap closed in a good Sheridan tackle. Freeman again. Watson to McCracken. To Darryl Halligan, called back. Ball was knocked forward by McCracken, says Russell Smith. New Zealand had a half chance. On a short side again.
Well, the Australian defence working overtime there, slowing the play down. Very, very unlucky, the New Zealand side there. But the thing is, for the Kiwis, the positive play was there. The positive play was there. They went out to attack.
Good sharp call. There was no doubt the ball went forward from Watson.
Oh, no doubt whatsoever. Good sliding defence also from the Australians countering it.
McCracken flies in. Ball and all on Limner. Harrigan. The Kiwis losing nothing by comparison. Australia really put to the test. Langer back inside to Shearer. Shearer under pressure. Still gets his kick in. He kept his composure. Has a little bit of a battle with Gary Mercer after he puts the kick in as well, but now it's Morven Edwards trying to step inside Laurie Daly, gets a ball back, a bit of a pressure one. Well taken by Hoppy, and a great comeback from the winger, who is having a dream test against Australia. Todd, chased, put down, out near halfway. Solomona takes it to halfway. Well, Michael O'Connor, what was said at the break by Bob Fulton?
Well, Bob Fulton was upset that at the scoreline with the 2 tries, but he said that they were sort of against the run of play to a certain extent, that they were a little bit lucky. He was very critical of Australia's, the fact that their ability not to play out their set of 6 tackles. He said out of 8 tackles, sets of 6, only 5 were, 5 tackles on 5 separate occasions they dropped the ball.
Hancock allows this one to bounce. It gets away a little. Halligan with a quick chase and a driving tackle.
And that was one of the most important tackles so far in this second half. A very, very important tackle. Forced Australia across the field, but they've got to back it up with strong defence again.
Daly trying to turn nothing into something. Kevin Walters likewise as they go up the middle. Still play on. Back to brother Steve. Great step from Langer. Nearly got right through. So all of a sudden it looked as though there was little on, and they turn it into a surge that takes them to halfway. New Zealand stretched out wide as the Australians go to a back line. Daly up the middle, touch, 6 more tackles. Sheridan winds up. Sheridan charges to the 30-metre line. They have 6 more tackles. Kevin Walters to Brad Fittler. Tried to pop up a ball for Hancock. John Mooney, as the Australians try and get back in with a try after the break, their hands again let them down.
Yeah, they are. They're not making the most of their opportunities. They picked up a little good field position there. This is the second tackle, and it's not the time to force a pass out.
The scrums go to New Zealand 6-3, make it 7-3. Rapati stepping inside quickly out of there from the scrummers. Bradley Clyde to assist Shearer. Todd, nearly always first man to the ruck for New Zealand. Freeman to McCracken. Great clashes out on the wing, especially with Hoppy and Khan. Now there's a great clash in the centres between McCracken, Daly, Fittler and Watson. Now an advantage for New Zealand. Again, not allowing the man to play it. This is the third time McCracken has milked it for a penalty.
Well, he's doing a good job in that area, Jared. What he's doing is he's placing the ball on the ground and trying to get up. He's really putting the Australian defenders in a no-win situation. All that can happen is the Kiwis can receive a penalty.
They do, and they go to 40 out from the Australian line. Todd again. And he picks up 8 metres. Dwayne Mann trying to get rid of the defenders to get a quick play of the ball. Solomona has let nobody down.
Yeah, he's played very well, and especially when you think back and say he's come out of a season in the 2nd division in England. He's kept up the pace and he's played particularly well.
Freeman and Nikau tried to change the angle. Now it's Mercer from dummy half as they set themselves on the 20. Cops a bit of a serve from Sirenen. Tudor trying to pop a ball to McCracken. Both sides pushing some passes, looking for a try that might give one or the other a little bit of comfort. Lazarus taken by Mercer, Solomona and Mann. Nobody got it except New Zealand. And they have an advantage. Rapati. Quickly, Hoppy looking for a hat-trick. Hoppy kept his cool. 5 metres out only. Rapati up the middle. Taken quickly by Harrigan as the Australians regroup. Now we've got a brawl back downfield. McCracken's involved. Sirenen's there. Russell Smith will go back to hear the report of a touch judge. So some frustrations explode 9 minutes into the second 40. Timeout. The clock is stopped as Russell Smith brings the warring parties back together for a bit of a peace powwow.
I think this will probably go back to the tackle that Sirenen made on the 20-metre line where he really muscled up once he hit the ground, and he went on with it a little bit there, and once the ball was moved away from that area, I'd say there was a little action took place.
Just trying to catch it in the corner of our screens. Freeman has been spoken to first. The suggestions that this might go against New Zealand, who had Australia. Now Kevin Walters got up and threw a punch at Jared McCracken. Now we've got a long report going in here. Which way's it going to go? He checks the spot with a touch judge. And I thought he was going to put his arm up for a New Zealand penalty. The longer this goes on, it's got to go Australia's way. McCracken will be talked about on a touch judge's report. Australia under all sorts of pressure. They're going to go downfield.
Well, this game's certainly in the balance. Both sides guilty of the same type of offences at the moment. Both sides trying to force things when they're not on. This game can be won or lost totally on discipline from now on. There's about 30 minutes left on the clock, and whoever's going to be the most disciplined, both in their passing of the game, passing of the ball, and in their defence, they're going to come out the winners.
I thought Australia were a little bit lucky to get that penalty. Kevin Walters, I believe both Kevin Walters and Jared McCracken should have had a spell in the sin bin.
Fair point, Michael. 6-5, the penalties just favouring New Zealand. Australia, they were defending their own line. Now they go down the other end looking for a try. Harrigan with a good step to get away from Tudor. Picked at the man was coming out of the line quickly. Left a little bit of a gap out wider. Langer. Sirenen takes it in behind the line.
Australia's got so many options when they're running with the ball. Alfie's got a number of players he can give it to, and it's easy for him because the New Zealand defence isn't coming up in a line together. So those weaving passes of Alfie Langer are very, very dangerous at the moment.
Clyde. Australia again starting to threaten last tackle. Fittler has gone to first receiver. He will bomb. Morven Edwards right in front of the post. He nearly grabbed it. Morven Edwards comes up with it and picks up 20 metres. That was nearly a try. Fittler just couldn't grab it.
Well, it was a great bomb. Good pressure. Fittler there nearly took the ball, but you said nearly had tried to get a try, to score a try. You've got to take the ball, and he didn't.
He thought he had it. Morven Edwards stood his ground. And standing his ground more than just that again is Solomona.
I don't know what Edwards takes for nerve tablets, but they certainly work.
Now Todd plays it 42 metres out as they set for a kick. Halligan gets a bounce just a little away from Dale Shearer. They get him inside that danger zone. 14 times in general play New Zealand have kicked. 10 times the Australians. One has definitely led to that try to Hoppy, which was a good one from Freeman.
This is probably the most important set of 6 tackles now for both sides, the defence of New Zealand and the attack of Australia. Australia are in a bit of bother at the moment, and they've got to be positive with their attack. I expect them to try and get the ball wide, but the Kiwis have to come up with a good defensive effort.
Kevin Walters back to Bradley Clyde.
Tell you what, there's a few big Australian forwards starting to walk. They might not be long before you see replacements.
Steve Walters, one-hander back to Shearer, does a juggling act, gets it back to Sirenen. Sirenen, he does likewise. Couple of magicians out wide who just managed to drag it back. Now Langer. Langer very wide, tried to sit it up short. Knocked down, is it 6 more? It is. He was trying to put Kevin Walters away. Crowd don't like it. No doubt about Dwayne Mann getting a hand in there. Lazarus right on the halfway line. Steve Walters to Harrigan, who has been non-stop. He loses it. Loses the ball. Just as Australia try and build, they cannot get into any flow. Strong run.
Well, he's having a good game, Paul Harrigan. He's causing the New Zealand defence a lot of trouble, but unfortunately there, he did lose the ball. Could have been a Kiwi hand in there, I suppose, helping it.
Thought you might have just added that. Ripati. 45 metres out. Freeman gets it to Todd. Missed tackles against the Kiwis. 10-6. Mercer.
Be interesting to see what happens now with the replacement players, Graham. Australia are very, very strong in the replacement area, but the Kiwis also got some good defensive players sitting there, so it's going to be a vital area that's going to be used shortly.
Rapati. Haven't seen him open up as yet.
Hell, guys.
We've got Brad Mackay
Edwards
down on the sideline warming up now.
So Brad Mackay gets the call for Australia to start to warm. Bomb down to Shearer. Todd chases, but the line is broken and they might even bring it back on counter-attack. Hancock taken strongly by Tudor. Getting down to, well, a fumble from one of the most experienced men in the Australian side to give New Zealand a chance. Also, the call going out for more replacements.
John Lomax coming on.
John Lomax gets a test match against the Australians with a change. And as Michael O'Connor said, John Money, I think the changes from here on in are going to play a massive role.
Yeah, they're going to be important, but it's really, really important that both teams settle down and start to play out 6 tackles, and well done, that fella there. Big Tony's done very well.
He's done outstanding, I think, considering the preparation he's had. He's had a fantastic game.
Nikau takes it inside the 20. Linda chases, trying to make up for his mistake. New Zealand putting the foot down. Inside for Lomax, his first touch. He takes them 5 metres away. They look to go wide with some big numbers. Can they get it there quickly? Freeman to McCracken, Australia. Rush up both sides of the ruck, hanging on near the line. Freeman again. Rapati stepping, taken well by Sheridan, but he gets the ball away to Watson. To Freeman! Freeman taken by Shearer, both sides. Stretched to the limit in attack and defence. Watson. Watson inside for Dwayne Mann! Did he get it down? No! He tried to reach out. Russell Smith was right on the spot, trying to check if he got the downward pressure.
Well, good driving there from Dwayne Mann. The goal line was close. To me, that looked like a try. To me, it looked like he forced the ball on the goal line.
Let's take another look, John. Did he get it down on the line with pressure? Yes.
They're great things, aren't they, replays? But the referee hasn't got the time on the replay. He's got to make a decision on the spot, and that's what he did.
It cut the chalk. It was a try.
It was a try.
So, a let-off for Australia. Lazarus now. How vital will that call be? The ball is stolen, and now this is where it proves tough. They have an advantage in Australian territory, New Zealand, but Australia will keep their composure and go a long way down the other end.
It was unfortunate for this. I don't think Nikau actually went in to strip the ball, but he did end up with it in his hands. Players on both sides have got to be very careful of that with that new rule.
It is 14-13, just 1 point.
Bobby Lindner off the field. Brad Mackay on, just about to get his first touch now.
Mackay goes without as Harrigan takes it up the middle.
What Mackay's going to do is give Australia another edge with their kicking game. He's a very good kicker.
Real struggle for Harrigan to get back to his feet. As Sheridan now will play it inside the 20. Langer to try and take control. He looks to Mackay. Mackay right on the fringe. Will improve inside that 20-metre line. Langer put down up the middle. Last tackle. Steve Walters looks wide to brother Kevin. He looks extra wide to Daly. Daly looks inside for Clyde, and the defence holds. The Australians would not allow Freeman to play it cleanly, and they pay the penalty. Well, Michael O'Connor, as test matches nearly always do, we're going to have some controversy to talk out of this one with that disallowed try to Dwayne Mann.
Yeah, no doubt about it, but both sides getting in good field position and then giving away valuable territory with silly penalties.
20 tackle advantage to the Kiwis in the opposition half. Todd. Mercer. New Zealand nearly midway through the second half of this opening test with a real look in at one of the great upsets. Australia strong favourites as world champs going into this game, and a great test match all unfolding here at Mount Smart Stadium. The crowd are well and truly warming to the home heroes.
Very good set of 6 tackles. That finished off with a good kick into the corner, turned all the Australians around. There's nothing a team likes better than walking forward towards the scrum as opposed to the opposition with their backs. And hear that crowd for the Kiwis.
Gary Freeman, the veteran, having a fine game, the captain. Australia receive a penalty. But that Kiwi chant is up and strong. Harrigan and Freeman having plenty of words to each other.
Michael's already mentioned it. Both sides guilty of giving away valuable field position. Plenty of good work just going unstuck with silly play.
John, you've watched it back in England. You've watched the international game really come to life with a resurgence from Great Britain. The Kiwis on track as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of talent on show out there, and they're playing particularly well. They're matching Australia ball for ball, 6 tackle for 6 tackle. And there's no shortage of talent on either side.
Langer switching play quickly. The Australians still trying to find a missing link. Trying to find the gap that might find a try to turn the test. There is hope everywhere around this Mount Smart Stadium for the Kiwis, though. Mackay heard a late call from Hancock, who was unmarked down the sideline. Couldn't get it to him. Langer will bomb away. Morgan Edwards to come up and try and grab it brilliantly. He really brings them alive here at Mount Smart as Hoppy takes it back.
Well, that was a good kick from Alfie Langer, because plenty of pressure then on the outside backs, but Morgan Edwards, a la Matthew Ridge wouldn't have done any better than that. It was a very, very good take from Morgan Edwards. Relieved a lot of pressure.
Exactly 20 minutes gone in the second 40.
This is the time here. The Kiwi fitness will really come under scrutiny here. It shouldn't be as good as Australia's, with a number of players having few games really in the last 6 or 7 weeks, so they're really playing on an empty tank at the moment, some of those players.
They're playing on a high at the moment, though, as Shearer leaps just as high to drag this one in. Freeman takes him. Freeman is everywhere trying to lead from the front. Langer looking wide to Kevin Walters. Daly will only have Willie Kahn outside him and a mile of black and white jumpers in front. 19 minutes left for the world champs to find at least 2 points.
That was a dangerous sign then for Australia, because there was only one player. What a hit!
What a hit from McCracken on the giant Glenn Lazarus. Now they put it down and they turn defence into attack. Fittler nearly stole it. Just like Hoppy, Fittler was nearly gone.
Don't be surprised to see Ian Roberts come on for Paul Sirenen.
Fittler thought he nearly had it. Freeman suggests to his players, let's curl it.
Well, the talent that's available on both of these teams is obvious here. They can move the ball quickly. That pass, had it stuck, was pressure for Australia, but it didn't. Very, very good work from Fittler.
Freeman to Rapati, to Watson. Watson, a beautiful one-hander back to Rapati. And the Australian defensive line holds. Todd, tremendous pace to the second half on a field that has copped a lot of rain overnight and even early this morning. Got to pay due respect to the Mount Smart Stadium Trust that have had this ground in good condition for the test. Could be the possible venue of the Auckland Warriors in 1995.
Very good defence that part from Australia then. Just snuffing out anything that they got in amongst the Kiwis. The Kiwis couldn't find a man to pass to and force that error.
That's great defence, and New Zealand get frustrated.
Very good passage of defensive work then from Australia.
Australia coming up with 15 handling mistakes. That is a big count against them.
Well, some of them, Graham, are coming from playing catch-up football. They're trying to force the pass really early in the tackle count when it wasn't really on.
Little bit of room to move for the back line from the scrum. Daly gets rid of McCracken. Was he tackled? No, said Russell Smith. Back to Willie Kahn. He comes to an end at the hands of Tudor and Dwayne Mann. Harrigan needs some support.
Kevin Walters has been replaced by Steve Renouf.
So Steve Renouf out there.
Renouf, sorry.
Sirenen tries to just slap away a defender, gets the ball stolen. It will be a penalty. Now, there is no doubt about it. Freeman argues a point, but it was plain for all to see.
No good arguing about it. It was silly play then from Dwayne Mann. Put New Zealand under all sorts of pressure again. They've now got to look to their defence, because Australia's fitness is really going to come out now.
Lazarus took another heavy shot, but still stood and unloaded. Langer takes it to midfield. Ian Roberts gets the call to warm with 16 and a half minutes left in the game. Right on the 20. Langer standing 20 metres wide of the ruck. Fittler. Renouf was looking for a touch. He is the man that turned the World Cup final last October against Great Britain. Can he do it against the Kiwis, who have kept their nose in front for 24 minutes of the second half? Steve Walters. The ball went forward. They nearly got a chance on the short side. And Steve Walters continues to be a threat from dummy half.
Yeah, one of the better dummy half runners in the game. And again, just a temptation. Let the ball go, force the pass out. They would have been better off taking the tackle and holding that field position.
Apparently, Paul Sirenen and Michael O'Connor has some problems.
He's been limping around, Graham, for the last 5 or 10 minutes. I'm surprised that Fulton's left him out there. Obviously, he thinks he's going to be okay, but Ian Roberts is up and about. He's warming up.
Lomax will play at 11 metres out, down to the business end of the opening test of 93. This is the tough section. Who will get to the line strongest?
And Graham, I suggested Bradley Tudor for New Zealand, if he can get himself wider instead of playing close to the ruck as he has been playing, he could prove more of a danger for the Australian side. But in saying that, Brad Mackay also, if he can get wider, serve them better.
14-13, 15 minutes left only.
As an Australian, Graham, my thoughts go to the forgotten man of the Test, Mal Meninga. And, you know, I can see Mal Meninga in a game like this coming up with the big busting run, pushing players off and coming up with the try that Australia need to win the game. There he is.
Is it a fair point, John? Do you think that Laurie Daly has to handle that added burden? I know he's captain New South Wales, but the first time with the big responsibilities on foreign soil.
Yeah, he certainly has. And Mal Meninga's a wonderful captain and he's inspirational leader, a great guy. Tony Kemp's come on for Tia Rapati. He's gone to 5'8".
And Sirinen leaves now for Roberts, so those changes all important with 14 minutes remaining from this scrum. Willie Kahn right on his own 20. Mackay. Lots of rugby league left in this test still. Harrigan. Very slow play the ball. Daly looking for an extra man into the line. He finds Shearer from the back. But they are matching the numbers.
Well, it's coming down more and more, Graham, to man-on-man, one-on-one. One mistake is going to win or lose this match.
Mackay. Fittler. Fittler loses it. The hands again are letting down the Australians. Time after time, chances, half chances gone.
Well, unfortunately, Brad Fittler losing the ball there. He has been one of Australia's best, I feel, today. He is a match winner, a brilliant player on his feet, but he came up with a bad error there.
The scrums by 6 to the Kiwis. Out quickly, Kemp. Sirinen has that ankle and foot check for possible break damage by the doctor, Nathan Gibbs. In real pain sideline, while his teammates are still in pain behind on the scoreboard in this first test. Lomax up the middle. Quick play the ball. Kemp. Tigerish defence from both teams in the second half. Backs to the wall, Stuffers, Dwayne Mann. Sets it to Freeman, to Mercer. A one-handed, a Tudor. Showed it, decided the best way was right up the middle. Now it's the last. Freeman screaming for it on the left. Under pressure from Bradley Clyde. Goes back to bomb away. Shearer under pressure. Can he do a Morven Edwards? You bet he can.
Oh, that's a super take by Dale Shearer.
Lots and lots of pressure. And Shearer climbed above everybody.
It was a great take that, but also Gary Freeman was very fortunate he didn't get chipped from the referee.
Tia Rapati will watch out the final 11 and a half minutes from the sideline. Steve Walters, some tired test talent out there for both teams now. Harrigan still trying to pump it out right up the middle. 32 away from their own line. The Kiwis trying to force them to kick. Trying to get them late in the tackle count. Daly to Renouf. Renouf breaks one. Takes it out near halfway and tries to look for a quick play of the ball. And Millie a penalty. Referee was tempted. Langer runs it on the last. Willie Kahn away from Lomax. They run it. They've got numbers inside. Renouf went the wrong way, I feel. There was men inside. I don't know if Renouf heard the call.
Could have been somebody jagged in the back play there too.
10 minutes left. Australia with a chance that nearly pulled it out. Now Tony Kemp.
Both sides are very desperate, but very tired, but are desperate. This New Zealand side are scrambling very well in defence.
New Zealand's got to get home with the crowd support at the moment. This Kiwi crowd has got to put up the big chant, just as the Queensland do for the Queensland crowd do for their team.
Morven Edwards down to Willie Kahn. They need a chase. The chase not so enthusiastic late in the game. Everybody starting to tire. This field, because of the rain, will have taken its toll on the legs. Shearer. Who will it be for Australia to try and turn it around? Or who will it be for New Zealand to ensure the big upset? The missed tackles. 2-1 against New Zealand. Langer trying to come more into his own now.
Well, Gary Freeman's taken over his role at the back of the ruck now. He's playing behind the line and he's talking. He's marshalling his troops. And that's a great play there by McCracken.
McCracken had Renouf in his sights. He had the radar locked on. Renouf fumbled, and New Zealand with an opportunity.
Well, McCracken's been going for this play right throughout the game. This is where it really came off for him. He put Steve Renouf under all sorts of pressure there, did force an error. Mind you, he put most players under pressure. He's a monster.
Freeman. 9 minutes now. New Zealand just where they want to be. Still looking for a try, though, in this second half. Dave Watson running behind some of his forwards. The chance still up around Mount Smart for the Kiwis. Todd. Australia desperate in defence. Their defence at times has been exceptional deep in their own 20. Tuta. New Zealand just throwing themselves into the line. Freeman kicking back across the ruck for Hoppy. That's taken beautifully by Khan. Back to the 20. Pinpoint accuracy from Freeman. He just needed a little bit more height. Quick restart from the Australians, and it is a short offensive line from New Zealand.
Yeah, well, certainly the referee now, I think he's getting tired as well, because the clearance between the two players, the two sets of teams, is becoming obvious. No way in the world New Zealand was back 10 metres there, but you'll also notice the 5 metres is starting to get very skinny.
More prevalent in this second half as they stand up on each other. Shearer fumbles. Harrigan's got it. Are we looking at the most vital point in the game? Dave Watson quickly out of dummy half, trying to pick up the pace right here and now, trying to put paid to this first test. Mercer throws himself right on the 20. 3 defenders put him to ground. They slow down the play of the ball. Kemp, Nikau, good ball, great ball, Halligan. Clever play, great defence. Dwayne Mann quickly to Freeman, to Watson. Watson sits up an awkward ball. Back goes Lomax. The Australians rush up and pick up about 20 metres. Last tackle, Freeman still wants it. Dwayne Mann, trap, still gets it back to Freeman. Freeman has some men left over. And again, Hoppy dummies. Back to Edwards, who will put up the little chip. Hoppy did beautifully to try and pick it up, then knocked on. Australia will waste no time. There is but only 6.5 minutes remaining. Langer takes it up to the line. Nobody back for New Zealand. Edwards up in the line at the moment. No fullback home. Big handling error count against Australia.
Wouldn't get a better finish to a test match than this, Graham. Fantastic defensive display by Australia at this stage. Been under all sorts of pressure, but also great play and attack from New Zealand.
Bradley Clyde to Daly. Ball looks forward to Mackay. Clyde gets away from Todd. Big numbers. Harrigan, can he unload? Lomax chases. Willie Kahn back inside to Renouf. Brilliant play. Great defence and cover from Freeman, but New Zealand are in trouble. Steve Walters, the Australians, from one side to the other. Langer. Still trapped last tackle. Time and time again, both sides pushed down to the last, and they continue to hang on. Daly with a field goal attempt, looking for the draw. Hoppy now. Exciting stuff here at Mount Smart. Great test. Plenty of mistakes from both sides, but it has been gripping throughout this second 40.
Gary Freeman absolutely barking at his troops at the moment. He saved this game if New Zealand win. That was an absolute certainty, that try, if it wasn't for Gary Freeman playing behind the line and covering up.
Well, he's done it right throughout the game, Michael.
He really is screaming at his troops now. They look tired. Both sides look tired.
Inside the last 5. The first test up for grabs. The Kiwis have a 1-point advantage. Shearer gets away from 1. Straightens, gets away from 2. Will get away from Dwayne Mann. Back to Renouf, who takes the tackle of McCracken. Now, he was injured. McCracken grabs it. That might be a penalty. It has to be. Now, Russell Smith tries to stop the clock. McCracken gives away a penalty. And the Australians will go down near halfway or even into New Zealand territory. The clock restarts.
Silly play that by Jared McCracken. Gary Freeman's got to get his troops together now and got to lay the law down to them. The game is theirs if they can be disciplined.
John, the toughest 4 minutes that Australia have faced in a long time.
Yeah, it is, but they've just got to be patient. They've got to hang on. They've got to get themselves in a position to score some points, and then when the opportunity comes, take it.
Would you grab 1 point? Would you grab a field goal?
No, I'd go for broke.
Bradley Clyde just outside the 20. Will they go for broke? It is 14-13. Langer, he goes for broke wide. Roberts stands right near the 20 before they put him down. Time almost gone, 3.5. Fittler tries to put an impact on it. Fittler gets rid of 2, stands, can't get it back. Langer's there if they want
I'll
1.
take the field goal and cut my losses here.
It's Daly! Daly grabs it! Locked together, unbelievable stuff. They keep their cool. And it is 14-all.
And John Glory David is doing captain today. The scores are tied. 14-all. 3 minutes to go. The Kiwis need...
Halligan back for a restart. Freeman. He knows that New Zealand now need the 1 point. They are the ones that will look for a field goal.
And how important was that field goal that Daly came up with before?
What a field goal from Daly. The Australians, the world champs, under pressure.
St George winger Jason Donnelly is on for Sean Hoppy.
Now Australia are the defenders of the Trans-Tasman Trophy. A draw will suit them. New Zealand need the victory. The Kiwi chant up around this stadium with 2 minutes only. They will have another shot at it, New Zealand. Can they get down into Australian territory with a chance at field goal? Hancock wrapped up. Last tackle, the kick is important for Australia. There has never been a drawn test between the two. We've got plenty of records up for grabs. Donnelly with his first touch in Test football against the Australians, taken by Langer. They've got to go a long way down the other end. Edwards, the danger is there if they force a pass and come up with a mistake. They need to get away from here. Halligan might be the man to come infield if they get over the halfway line to search for a field goal. Donnelly, his run is brought down. And he loses his jumper.
Super defence from Brad Mackay.
Be a few other players in Australia, people in Australia and New Zealand losing their shirts on this game, I'll tell you, more than their shirts.
Now we're checking the clock at this stage. We think there might still be over a minute. The chase is on. Australia have but only 60 seconds to handle. Hancock taken by Freeman. Enthralling test. Absolutely enthralling. New Zealand are serving out a big warning to Australia, and Australia under pressure have come up with a lot of great defence. Now that is a very skinny play of the ball, about a 2 or 3 metre rule only. Tamati, hopeful of a mistake. McCracken tries to force one. Renouf has it just outside the 20. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Is there a miracle left either way? Roberts, Australia kill it. 20 seconds, last tackle. Do you believe? Is there anything left from New Zealand? Fittler goes deep to Edwards. He will have only 10 seconds. Last throw of the dice. Who can stand up and produce? Last tackle of what has been an exciting test. There could be a penalty. The crowd has absolutely rushed onto this ground. That was important. 14 all. Russell Smith may have been forced to produce a penalty there at the finish. Forget about it now. 14 all.
Game and it's just keep it down, let them talk, Quiet, guys.
Brent Todd, that was as furious a game as you would have played in.
Yeah, Pat, it was a real tough one out there. You know, they're a big forward pack, and full credit to our guys. They played very well, and I suppose a lot of people wouldn't have thought it would be a 14 draw, but we're happy with that, and we'll just have to look forward to Palmerston North.
You went in as underdogs, mate, but you really did your nation proud today, didn't you?
Yeah, we had great support here, as you can see. Great support, and hopefully the support will be down there in Palmerston North, but geez, that was a tough game.
Be a sellout house down there. Can you lift yourselves for another effort like that?
Yeah, I think so. I think the guys looked at themselves today, and you know, that's a good booster for them. It's a good confidence boost, and they will train hard this week. Hopefully there'll be no major injuries, and we'll be lifting ourselves at Palmerston North.
All right, mate, go and have a well-earned drink.
Thanks very much, Pat.